Hello, hello. Welcome to DBL. I just noticed you all have a purple palette.
I know. There we go.
We're not just great, we're grape.
I wanted to hate it.
Huh?
You know what? I did too, but it was
wasn't. It was pretty quick. I mean, it wasn't good, but it was quick.
Oh, she got a round of applause from some people in the office.
It was just one person.
Yeah, just one. All right, so let's talk about this because Jimmy Kimmel is all over the news. He is threatening to take Aaron Rodgers to court after he suggested Kimmel might have ties with disgraced financier and convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what Aaron Rodgers said on the Pat McAfee show. Watch.
This has something to do with the Epstein list that came out?
Feels like
It's supposed to be coming out soon. A lot of people, including Jimmy Kimmel, are really hoping that doesn't.
So Jimmy Kimmel responded, writing, quote, "Dear Bleep, for the record, I've not met, flown with, visited, or had any contact whatsoever with Epstein. Nor will you find my name on any list. Your reckless words put my family in danger. Keep it up, and we will debate the facts further in court." Wow. What do you think of this, Al?
I wonder if something really bad has to happen. I mean, I thought the Nancy Pelosi situation with her husband being attacked with a hammer would have done it. I don't care about political affiliations or if you're an anti-vaxxer. I could care less. Because the thing is, the person that we're talking about, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or Jimmy Kimmel, they'll be protected. They'll have security with them. It's difficult to get to CBS or inside the Jets locker room, but it's not as hard to get to your kids' middle school. It's not as hard to get to your grandmother's bridge game. And I wonder if something bad has to happen to somebody connect to these people off of an offhanded, just barb that you threw on a television podcast before we do something, because I think this is a lot more serious than we treat it.
I like that you said that. This is the offhand comment. They have responded saying they were just chewing the fat, right? Where they're just doing that. You can't do that on television when you mention a public figure connected to a convicted pedophile. Sue. I say sue the pants off. Sue for $500 million. Make it a line in the sand. You don't talk about me that way. You don't defame me that way, and I will come after you if you come after me. This needs to be a no for Aaron Rodgers. He flippantly says stuff a lot. This is a major crossover, and I'm glad that Jimmy Kimmel does this. If you didn't notice, Tom Cruise famously does this. Any tabloid comes out, he'll sue him forever, and they don't want to deal with the lawsuits. So I say sue and sue big.
I think you're taking it a little too far.
I don't.
Just in my opinion. Because if you think this is big between Jimmy Kimmel and Aaron Rodgers, who had previous beef, I think they are kind of just throwing it around. Jimmy struck back to end that conversation, shut it down. I get it. But if you think that's deep, let's start talking about world leaders and our politicians and people that are really involved. Don't let this distract you from what really is going on. So maybe we hit the next beat and I'll give you my opinion.
To that point, Jeff's point, and we're going to hear more from Jeff because he's been very invested in this whole case. Let's talk about the Epstein list. So to catch up everybody, the list contains nearly 200 names of people, including some prominent figures linked to Jeffrey Epstein that were part of court documents. Previously, they were only known as John or Jane Doe, but a judge ruled that the names could become public by the end of the month. Now, several of the names potentially on the list have already been identified in the media, like Bill Clinton, who through a spokesperson confirmed he had flown on Epstein's jet, but said he knew nothing of his crimes. Prince Andrew may also be on that list. Other known associates of Epstein include Donald Trump, although his name is not expected to be on that list. Also, Bill Gates, who met with Epstein to discuss philanthropy in 2011, according to the New York Times. So what do we all think of this list finally becoming public? And what does it really mean, Jeff, in your opinion, someone that's been invested in this? What do you think is going to happen when this list comes out? Do you think those names are going to be unfairly judged? What if it's just an employee who knew nothing? What if it's somebody who met with him to do some sort of a fundraiser?
So there's already some caveats to this list. Like it's the people who associated with him after Epstein was convicted in 2008.
As a pedophile.
Right? As a pedophile. So, and it's a time frame. There's a lot of nuances to this list that people don't know. They think Clinton's going to be on top of the list. Trump, Gates, Prince Andrew, all the names that we've been speculating. They might all not be on this list. We don't know what's going to be on this list.
Right.
But to just say, hey, I'm the court system, I'm going to give the public this list, and I don't really mean anything from it, but you guys run. We take one little fact in the past couple of years, and we run past the finish line, circle the globe, and pass it again with that fact. You don't think that this coming out in 2024 has any implications on either side. If this is the last draw to take down Donald Trump, which is what I think it is, again, this is all conspiracy, but if Trump's on that list, you got to draw the line somewhere. Where do you draw your line? Insurrection, here, what he said about women, this. Pedophilia is a hard line for a lot of Americans. And if a running candidate is on that list, which, again, they might not be, that's the end of their candidacy.
Let me throw this at you, though. Considering that it's just a court document from this one specific case, considering that there's so many, does this, in the court of public opinion, exonerate when it shouldn't? So let's say we're not getting manifestos. We're not getting the actual list.
Like, if he's not on there.
If Clinton or Trump or Biden, whoever may be, who is speculated to be on that list, isn't on this list, which doesn't represent the entirety of Jeffrey Epstein's associates, does that exonerate him in the court of public opinion?
I think parties.
Good question.
Parties, that was a great point, because parties will take that and say, this person, XYZ, and I don't even want to say names because I'm trying to be impartial here. XYZ was not on that list, and you better vote for him, or XYZ was, or so. To say that this will not be weaponized, to say that it's going to be a conspiracy theory, we weaponize everything. We weaponize the color of your skin. We weaponize every single excruciating detail of you. But this manifesto won't be weaponized for the 2024 election. Please, I have a hard time believing that.
Well, I think that we might not be seeing the other side of this. Maybe this wasn't released because of what you just said, Jeff. We do weaponize everything, and we weaponize, I mean, we just saw it with Ruby Freeman and her daughter with the Rudy Giuliani case. You can talk Trump and Clinton and all those guys, but they can defend themselves. Regular citizens that may be on that list because they were cleaning the island or fixing the elevator there or, you know, doing the landscaping. Do you think the internet crazies are going to be like, oh, let me do my research? They're just going to attack them and rip their lives apart.
Exactly.
So I think the judge might have been holding back that list because we as a public cannot just handle random names. We're going to see that and we're going to say this person is part of some grand conspiracy.
Do we think this out? We know this because a woman has said, Jane Doe, if you release this list, I will be in danger. And the judge has delayed it till I think the end of January. So you are correct. The random people on this list, I think we're taking this list and making it too much of what it is.
But that's not going to, unfortunately, it's not going to change people's opinions.
You're absolutely right.
They will weaponize, to Jeff's point, the disinformation attached to this seldom list.
Correct.
However, many other lists.
Oh, correct. This show will not take that list and say it is what it is. We will show discernment and say it will be weaponized, but really we don't know the ends of it all.
Unless it gets great ratings.
Yeah, I'm weaponized.